perspective. We leave it there. Meanwhile, Chinese President Xi Jinping has reaffirmed his country's commitment to supporting the United Nations' central role in global affairs, emphasizing China's dedication to true multilateralism. Xi has also assured UN Secretary-General Guterres that China would continue to be a reliable partner to the UN. Guterres arrived in Beijing on Saturday morning ahead of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization Summit 2025. The SCO is emerging as a major global power center, with Asian superpowers gathering for the summit, which will take place on the 31st of August and the 1st of September in the port city of Tianjin, China. Mr. Andrew K.P. Leung with us on the broadcast. Mr. Leung, what do you make of Xi Jinping and China's promise to the UN that they will continue to be reliable partners? And this comes at a time when globally there is a lot of question that is being raised on the role of the UN in the decades to come.
The UN was established firmly following the failed example of the League of Nations right after the Second World War. And for quite some time, in the beginning, after it was established, it did have some sort of a role in maintaining global stability. When the whole world was governed in a way or led by the American found and led liberal world order based on commonly accepted rules of engagement, respecting other countries' sovereignty, and then a more inclusive kind of mentality towards the weaker states, and also helping to grow the global economy. But now this liberal world order, rule-based order, has been cast asunder by President Trump 2.0, pivoting towards the American first, using coercive tactics and bullying, not only against China, but against Americans' long-term allies, including the transatlantic relationship with European unions and other countries around the world, in fact. And so this is a time when the global South is rallying together, not to form a bloc because no country wants to make an enemy of the United States, but to recalibrate relationships and to seek areas for coordination, to address common challenges like climate change, food security, pandemics, development opportunities, and sustainability in the global commons. Not that they do not have differences. Of course, there is a huge difference in ideology, in geopolitics between countries like India and China, and China and Japan for that matter, but also between the members of this Shanghai Cooperation Agreement, even to a certain extent between China and Russia. But in spite of the differences, I think they're rallying together to turn the global order back to a peaceful, a more cooperative environment where countries can seek the development, protect the development rights, and to grow the economy, bring benefits to peoples across the world. And particularly in an organization like the United Nations, which is supposed to stop or to find methods to diffuse regional conflicts, this role has been seen to be increasingly ineffective. Look at what's happening over Ukraine. Look at what's happening on the humanitarian crisis over Gaza, and all the wars, the Afghan war, the Iraq war. Many of these have ignored the United Nations Charter. So the United Nations is plagued by the Security Council, the 5 members of the Security Council, which was a legacy of the victors of the of the Second World War. But the victors of the Second World War and bear no relations to the change geopolitics at the moment. Because after the Second World War, China was very, very poor and was not even shown any kind of attention during various agreements. Immediately after the Second World War, settling territorial disputes and so on, and China was just totally ignored. But China is now the world's, of course, second largest economy, and of course it also ignores the rising powers in the global south. What about the rich and very powerful the Middle East, the countries, the Arab League, for example? What about the African Union? And what about the South American countries? What about the aspirations of a share in the decision-making powers in the Security Council of countries like India, Brazil, and so on? So I think that President Xi's remark is to highlight the a kind of revival of the role of the United Nations. But of course, the revival cannot happen without a basic reform of the power dynamics of the Security Council, the permanent membership.
Right, absolutely. Mr. Lim, thank you so much for joining us on NewsX with that perspective. We'll leave it there.